Good morning, my miracle friends. Lesson 134 from A Course in Miracles. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Let us review the meaning of forgive. For it is apt to be distorted and to be perceived as something that entails an unfair sacrifice of righteous wrath, a gift unjustified and undeserved, and a complete denial of the truth. In such a view, forgiveness must be seen as mere eccentric folly, and this course appears to rest salvation on a whim. This twisted view of what forgiveness means is easily corrected when you can accept the fact that pardon is not asked for what is true. It must be limited to what is false. It is irrelevant to everything except illusions. Truth is God's creation, and to pardon this is meaningless. All truth belongs to Him, reflects His laws, and radiates His love. Does this need pardon? How can you forgive the sinless and eternally benign? The major difficulty that you find in genuine forgiveness on your part is that you still believe you must forgive the truth and not illusion. You conceive of pardon as a vain attempt to look past what is there, to overlook the truth in an unfounded effort to deceive yourself by making an illusion true. This twisted viewpoint but reflects the hold the idea of sin retains as yet upon your mind as you regard yourself. Because you think your sins are real, you look on pardon as deception, for it is impossible to think of sin as true and not believe forgiveness is a lie. Thus is forgiveness really but a sin like all the rest. It says the truth is false and smiles on the corrupt as if they were as blameless as the grass, as white as snow. It is delusional in what it thinks it can accomplish. It would see as right the plainly wrong, the loathsome as the good. Pardon is no escape in such a view. It is merely a further sign that sin is unforgivable, at best to be concealed, denied, or called another name. For pardon is a treachery to truth. Guilt cannot be forgiven. If you sin, your guilt is everlasting. Those who are forgiven from the view their sins are real are pitifully mocked and twice condemned, first by themselves for what they think they did, and once again by those who pardon them. It is sin's unreality that makes forgiveness natural and wholly sane, a deep relief to those who offer it, a quiet blessing where it is received. It does not countenance illusions, but collects them lightly with a little laugh and gently lays them at the feet of truth, where they disappear entirely. Forgiveness is the only thing that stands for truth in the illusions of the world. It sees their nothingness and looks straight through the thousand forms in which they may appear. It looks on lies, but it is not deceived. It does not heed the self-accusing shrieks of sinners mad with guilt. It looks on them with quiet eyes and merely says to them, "My brother, what you think is not truth." The strength of pardon is its honesty, which is so uncorrupted that it sees illusions as illusions, not as truth. It is because of this that it becomes the undeceiver in the face of lies, the great restorer of the simple truth. By its ability to overlook what is not there, it opens up the way to truth, which has been blocked by dreams of guilt. Now are you free to follow in the way your true forgiveness opens up to you. For if one brother has received this gift of you, the door is open to yourself. There is a very simple way to find the door to true forgiveness and perceive it open wide in welcome. When you feel that you are tempted to accuse someone of sin in any form, do not allow your mind to dwell on what you think he did, for that is self-deception. Ask instead, would I accuse myself of doing this? Thus will you see alternatives for choice in terms that render choosing meaningful and keep your mind as free of guilt and pain as God Himself intended it to be, and as it is in truth. It is but lies that would condemn. In truth is innocence the only thing there is. Forgiveness stands between illusion and the truth, between the world you see and that which lies beyond, between the hell of guilt and the heaven's gates. Across this bridge, as powerful as love, which laid its blessing on it, are all dreams of evil and of hatred and attack brought silently to truth. They are not kept to swell and bluster and to terrify the foolish dreamer who believes in them. He has been gently wakened from his dream by understanding that what he thought he saw was never there, and now he cannot feel that all escape has been denied to him. He does not have to fight to save himself. He does not have to kill the dragons which he thought pursued him, nor need he erect the heavy walls of stone and iron doors he thought would make him safe. He can remove the ponderous and useless armour made to chain his mind to fear and misery. His step is light, and he lifts his foot to stride ahead. A star is left behind to point the way to those who follow him. Forgiveness must be practiced, for the world cannot perceive its meaning nor provide a guide to teach you its beneficence. There is no thought in all the world that leads to any understanding of the laws it follows, nor the thought that it reflects. It is as alien to the world as your own reality, and yet it joins your mind with the reality in you. Today we practice true forgiveness, that the time of joining be no more delayed, for we would meet with our reality in freedom and in peace. Our practicing becomes the footsteps lightening up the way for all our brothers who will follow us to the reality we share with them. That this may be accomplished, let us give a quarter of an hour twice today and spend it with the guide who understands the meaning of forgiveness and was sent to us to teach it. Let us ask of him, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Then choose one brother as he will direct and catalogue his sins as one by one they cross your mind. Be certain not to dwell on any one of them, but realise that you are using his offences but to save the world from all ideas of sin. Briefly consider all the evil things you thought of him, and each time ask yourself, would I condemn myself for doing this? Let him be freed from all the thoughts you had of sin in him, and now you are preparing for freedom. If you have been practicing thus far in willingness and honesty, you will begin to sense a lifting up, a lightening of weight across your chest, a deep and certain feeling of relief. The time remaining should be given to experiencing the escape from all the heavy chains you sought to lay upon your brother, but were actually laid upon yourself. Forgiveness should be practiced through the day, but there will be still many times when you forget its meaning and attack yourself. When this occurs, allow your mind to see through this illusion as you tell yourself, let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Would I accuse myself of doing this? I will not lay this chain upon myself. In everything you do, remember this, no one is crucified alone, and yet no one can enter heaven by himself. Massive lesson. Again, I keep saying this every day, but this is actually huge, and this is where it's quite layered. So let's start with the top line. God, the creator of all, experiencing itself as you, me, and what have you. We're all God. We're all this unity consciousness. God does not need to forgive because God does not condemn in the first place, because God is experiencing the innocence of itself, experiencing itself. So as we go out of that unity consciousness and we come into the separation mentality that Tippy's over here, you're over there, this body's over here, that one's over there, da da da, which is a very strong reality for all of us. Within that context, within those laws, we have to practice forgiveness because we're so good at seeing each person as separate and then seeing, judging them that they did this to me and I'm condemning them with this and now I'm condemning that. You know, we are condemning things that God itself does not condemn, but because we are little ego separation characters in a video game that think we're separate. I mean, we all do. I do. You know, I look at my body and I see my legs and feel my hands and look at my eyes and see my hair and what have you, and I think, you know, this is me, Tippy. I'm not thinking all day long, oh my God, I'm literally God experiencing itself. I wish I was. Quite a lot of the time I can get into that state, but very quickly day-to-day life makes you think, fuck you, and or whatever is going on. So within the laws of the video game that we're all in, we do have to practice forgiveness, because we made up this rule that you're capable of doing something to me, and therefore I'm capable of condemning and judging you. Therefore, I have to then play the game of forgiveness if I am going to be at peace. So how do we do this game of forgiveness, especially if we feel very much that we've been attacked or some awful things happen to us, blah, 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 in the game of earth life? Well, we just want to be seeing the innocence in everyone. If we can see beyond this story and just see the innocence in everyone. I say this a lot to people when people are telling me about their terrible childhood or this or that. I'm like, do you understand that that was your mum and dad or your one parent doing their best in that moment with their level of consciousness in that moment and all their belief systems? That was their best option in that moment, the innocence in this. And I say it again about the weather, we don't personalise the weather. Oh, there's a grey cloud. What? Why is that grey cloud got it in for me today? Blah, blah, blah. It's so hard to depersonalise things. But if we can depersonalise things and just see the pure innocence in everything, the pure innocence in a volcano erupting, the pure innocence in a flower bursting into flower, but then equally a flower dying, the innocence in everything, we can then apply that as a universal application to the narratives in our life of he did me wrong and she did me wrong and I did him wrong and I don't, I'm guilty because of something I did, and I will never forgive myself for what I did because, that was such a terrible thing I did. We've all got them. We've all got a little rucksack on our back of our own guilty conscience about something we've done, or a list of judgments on other people. So if we can just see the innocence in myself, the innocence in other people, the compassion for everyone just doing their best, and let me perceive forgiveness as it is. Like, would I accuse myself of doing this? Probably a lot of people would, because we're all on a self-flagellating guilt trip half of the time. But if we just sit down honestly and list the sins, and in the Course in Miracles it says a sin is not a thing as such, it is, you're missing the target. You were loveless. It was loveless. It was a loveless moment. Miss the target. The innocence in missing the target. Literal miracles start happening. If nothing more for yourself, you just start feeling this lightness coming in, these big rucksacks that you've been carrying on your back, lifting, and not caring. Don't care. Carelessness. Light-hearted carelessness. Not caring. I don't care anymore. It's not a bad thing. I'm not being loveless because I don't care anymore. It's just that I'm not going to torture myself caring. Don't care anymore because I'm too busy having such an amazing life with a light heart and an ability to forgive really quickly when things do go a little bit off track. So good luck with this one. I know it seemed hardcore, and I'm sure there are people on this group that have got good reason to not forgive. But in the end, who is suffering with this? Who is suffering? The other person isn't suffering, but I'm sure you are. So we want to lighten the load. We all love that song from Frozen, Let It Go. We want to let it go. See the innocence. See the innocence. Because if you can see the innocence in someone, oh my God, you have liberated yourself, and you have also liberated that other person. So have an amazing day.